Dang, you are making me we're competing now. This isn't good. I knew that we were stargazing tonight, but I didn't expect the brightest star to be just in front of me. You got me with that one. You got me with that one. I would be a Crowe girly just for this line right here. It's Hugo! He's the love of my life. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Sleeeeepy. If you are returning, I missed you, sleepyhead. If you are new here, it is nice to meet you, cutie pie. And welcome to the hub of all things oh so cozy, oh so sleepy, and oh so sweet. So you guys, as you can see, Thekidattheback had a little bit of an update. It's nothing major. They just added some more scenes and some more CGs.
So that was a fucking lie.
And I came here to see my baby boy, Hugo. Yes, everybody, I came here to see Hugo because I miss him. I miss him with every ounce of my being. I miss him. So, I'm excited. You're excited. Let's do it. First of all, look at this. This is amazing. So I think, oh, hi boys. So this goes to weigh the hearts, or you get more points. I think this is a point adder. This is exciting. I shouldn't be this excited. I should be this excited. Following up behind Brittany are 3 more people. The tallest of the 3 is a sporty looking man, clad in green and yellow, jersey with the number 10 in the front. Oh my god, we got official introductions. I love this. Cause here's my home skillet, my home slice. And last but not least is the shortest of the 3, maybe within the group as well. Her skin pale. Damn, Brett. You sure are bad at socializing. Hey, Gio, seems like you have competition. That's so rude. The tall jock, clad in yellow and green sports jersey, lets out a loud laugh, causing some students to turn to look at him. Brittany's face grew red in embarrassment. Gritting her teeth, she crossed her arms while tapping her foot on the ground. This only made the jock laugh even harder. Shut up, Daryl. You're causing a scene. Also, if you were me, you would have done just as badly. That is, in fact, not true. I am a lovable guy. Oh, yeah? Yeah. As the 2 argue, you turn your head towards the other tall man in a hoodie. Sensing your gaze, he looks down at you, his hand still in his hoodie's pocket. Sit and chill with on your side. I love Gio. He's the love of my life. And the brothers are the love of my life. You quickly averted your gaze away from the opposing male and landing on the meat girl in orange right behind Brittany. She hasn't spoken since she arrived with the 2 males, but judging from how attached she is to Brittany, you're guessing she's with her than the rest of the group. She kind of reminds you of yourself when you were still new to the school with no one to talk to. Not until Crowe offended you, of course. Were you as stinky to Crowe back then as she is with Brittany now? Sorry, that kind of a rowdy bunch, huh? I hope you will not feel overwhelmed. They sure are something. You look sleepy. You'll feel free not to join us for lunch if you don't want to. Meeting new people is overwhelming. I just want to let you know that I respect your feelings and you matter, Sleepy. So weird to say, Crowe. Okay. Crowe reassures you with a worried smile on his lips. You turn back to the group, the tall jock named Daryl now bothering Geo with an arm over his shoulder. The visible irritation on Geo's face did nothing to sway Daryl's happy-go-lucky personality. Brittany leans on one of the desks with her arms crossed, striking a conversation with the bespectacled girl next to her. What's her name? I didn't seem to catch it last time. Crowe glanced at to where you were pointing at. Jessie? You can call her Jess for short. She's best friends with Brittany. She kind of reminds me of you back when we first met. All shy and quiet. Only that you're cuter. Oh, you don't want it. He's not hiding it. Crowe pinches your cheek playfully and you groan, but your mock annoyance is betrayed by the small smile that formed on your lips. How time flies, huh? Oh, that's right. You got yourself acquainted with Crowe in your sophomore year. Before you left for the city, your father emphasized the importance of having companions and establishing friendships, most especially in this college. Olympias University, the largest university in Titan City, it is known for having the best facilities and the best education, where you're guaranteed to rise from the bottom to the top. Well, that's what the advertisements tell you. You tried getting to know people during your first year, but to no avail. No matter how much you try to make friends, you just couldn't seem to bring yourself to talk to anyone. And to your dismay, no one seems to even bother to befriend you. Sure, you would talk to a few classmates for projects, but nothing goes beyond that. As if they're scared of you. More like, disgusted? You can never tell. The looks you've received have been mixed signals. Some bad, some out of pity. That is, until Crowe came into the picture. Oh. What if this makes me flip sides? What if I flip-flop? What if this makes me flip-flop? I don't think I'm going to, but what if I flip-flop, guys? Among everyone, Crowe was the sole person who approached you with the invitation of friendship. You were wary of him at first. Why would someone want to befriend you out of nowhere? Your past experiences caused you suspicion. You've had a history with people who tried to earn your good graces because you were somehow beneficial to them. You thought Crowe would be the same, so you ignored him. But then he kept following you, trying to strike a conversation with you every now and then. You tried to dismiss him, ignoring his presence as usual, but Crowe was determined to break down your walls, and kept insisting on tagging along until it annoyed you once. Just once. That is, until it happened on the last day of your first semester in your sophomore year. Oh my god, we're getting some good stuff. You fell victim to one of the school's biggest hidden flaws. If Crowe wasn't there to stop them, you could not begin to imagine what might have happened to you. He is so cute with his ponytail. Oh my god, his hair is down. He's so cute. Dang, you are making me we're competing now. This isn't good. Thank goodness you unharmed. You're concerned about me? How about you? You're the one who's hurt. Thinking back, you thought he was crazy and stupid, taking blow after blow until the perpetrators got bored and left the both of you. Well, that's the whole point, right? As long as you're not hurt, this isn't nothing. You're crazy. You know that? He just laughs it off, wincing due to the bruises on his face. I never got your name, crazy person. It's Jericho. Jericho Ichiban. But just call me Crowe. Nice to meet you, Crowe. I'm sleepy. I'm blushing. You brought him to the clinic that day and became inseparable ever since. Right after that incident, Crowe promised to never get in fights again and continues to keep his word on it. Crowe. You really owe it to him. You look back up at Crowe. He tilts his head. Something on your mind, Sleepy? Nothing. Just happy that you're my friend. He looked at you with raised eyebrows, probably surprised at how random your thoughts seem. He didn't say anything as he let your words sink in, and his usual gentle smile appeared on his face. Crowe inched closer to you, indicating that he feels the same. I miss hair down Crowe. Give us more hair down Crowe. With his little pony, his hair was down out of his braid. Brittany must have taken notice to the amount of time wasted in talking and arguing as she turns to you one last time. We've talked a little bit too much. We'll end up not getting any seats if we keep this up. So, are you coming with us or not? No, I'm sorry. I'm still going. So, caught up in your little daydream about the past, Brittany finally spoke up, catching your attention. You looked back at Crowe, recalling his words. Don't force yourself to join if you're still uncomfortable. You decide then to... Brittany wordlessly turns on her heels and walks out of the classroom, the rest of her friends following behind her. Crowe, however, stayed in his exact spot right next to you. Noticing this, Gio, the one in the hoodie, stopped. Crowe. Huh? Oh, be right there. Crowe paused shortly to sneak a look at you before walking towards Gio, his movements slow and hesitant to leave your side. Although Crowe didn't give you a farewell glance before reaching his friend, it was Gio who glared at you over his shoulder. What did we do? His gaze was intimidating and intense. It reminded you of the way predators look at their prey. You felt your heart stop beating for a moment. You cannot make me not love Gio. I'ma always love him. Confused by his apparent stillness, Crowe was about to question his blue-haired companion, but Gio waved his hand dismissively. Before Crowe could notice anything, Gio breaks his gaze away from yours and ushers his friend out of the classroom. You let out the breath you didn't know you were holding. What was that about? He gave me nothing but short glances and glares since I met him. Maybe I'm not suited to be part of their group. You shake away from the negative thoughts attempting to plague your mind. Returning to your original plan, you packed up your things and proceeded to head out. Oh, this is going to be a big game. You guys, I got distracted, right? These are the safe warnings. But I got distracted and I was curious. So I went to the album and like it shows you all the different, so like you have souls, you have pros. Crowe has one now. I'm so excited. But like Soul has 4 now? What? Oh my goodness. Okay. Like girl, y'all putting in the work. And then we have I think 9, 10, 11 other CGs that we can get. Which I'm assuming is the 4 from the pit. I'm excited. We getting in this. We getting into it. Okay. We're getting into it. You refuse to accept this. This is your seat. Heck, you even made sure that people know it's yours by scribbling your name into the wooden chair. Okay, the last part was a lie. You'd probably get in trouble if you ever vandalize school property. You've been in the library more than you could count. That you're pretty sure even the regular students that come here know that it's your spot. You fake the cough. Ahem. That seemed to catch his attention, for he gives you a small glance right after, his nose still buried in his book. You're in my seat. Can I have it back? He stares at you for a moment, then closes his book, swerving his body to face you while placing an elbow on the mahogany table. His reddish orbs stare right into your own. The confidence you had 5 minutes ago vanishes like thin air, as his gaze sends shiver down your spine. The dark circles under his eyes add to his intimidating look. He raised a brow before looking around, under the table, on the seat, and even under his book before turning back to you. I don't need your sass. I don't need your sass. I already knew what he was doing. Rude. I don't see your name anywhere. Okay, Big Daddy. You can see my name and your phone number. That didn't make sense. You can see my name and your cell phone number when you add it in there. If you do, please. You can feel the veins on your forehead pop out. Oh, So he wants to be a smartass, huh? Should've put my name like I've planned for jerks like him. You cross your arms, not hiding your visible irritation, earning a low chuckle from the male who is seemingly amused by your frustration. So cute. Say, if you really want your seat back, you need to convince me to move first. Tell me what you want. Tell you what, how about a cup of coffee? If you could give me a cup of coffee, maybe I'll consider moving. You bite your inner cheek. Now he wants you to be his little servant? Who does this guy think he is? Turning your head to the nearby coffee stand right next to the exit, you observe some students enjoying their own coffee while reading and studying. Maybe you can grab his coffee and get this over with. Absolutely not. Give up your seat, bro. Do I look like your little maid? Just move and give me my seat back. You angrily voiced out, growing more and more impatient with the male before you. However, he seems unbothered by your threat, his eyes half-lidded in boredom before going back to reading his novel. Okay. Alright. Okay, this guy is getting on my nerves. If he doesn't want to leave, then I'm not letting him then. You huffed in annoyance and moved around behind him. He did not utter a single word and kept his nose in the light novel, though he couldn't deny the fact that he is a bit curious about what you were planning. What shocked him next was you pulling out the chair, causing him to gasp as he wobbled in his seat. Steadying himself, he prepared to reprimand you for your actions, but you cut him off once more. What are you... by settling yourself on top of his lap. What now, Big Daddy? He swore on whatever god looking down on him right now to take him. The book in his hand is threatening to slip off of his senses shut down save for his eyes that remain focused on your back. His heartbeat quickens, cursing under his breath while you continue on with the work as if he isn't there. And you? Oh, sweet little you. Slightly turning your head, giving a quick glance, your lips turning upward as if to mock him. Joke's on us, he's eating this up. He's eating it up. Teasing him. It's driving him insane. You, however, went along with your task, ignoring him as if he weren't there, for your ass literally on top of his lap. He looks around him, noticing a few glances from passing students, some rolling their eyes and some moving away, finding a different seat. That's so embarrassing, but I'm gonna be embarrassing. Get up on my seat. The guy's face went red and the surrounding students were definitely interpreting this the wrong way. He returns his gaze back to you, who remains unbothered, sitting on his lap and seemingly not noticing the weird glances. Honestly, in college, we do not be caring. Dude, we ain't paying attention, y'all. We don't care. At least I did not care. Live your best life. Who am I to judge? He eventually relaxes, though still a bit hesitant, placing his arm next to yours. With a free hand, he picks up the book he had and reads through its contents once more. Oh. A minute or two passed by, and you felt a sigh before closing his book. He seems to be having a hard time concentrating on his novel. Not your problem, though. Seldom we find, says Solomon Dondun. He reads out, making you arch an eyebrow, whilst trying to ignore him still as you remain focused on your papers. I have an idea in the profoundest sonnet. Through all the flimsy things we see at once. Is he reading through my paper? Is he reading through my papers? More specifically on the poem you chose? As easily as though a Naples bonnet. An enigma by Edgar Allan Poe. Huh. Not a bad choice. Now, this got your attention. In all honesty, you just grabbed whatever book that your hand thought felt heavy and went along with it. Not bearing to ignore him any longer, you speak up. It's the first thing I could find that looks interesting. Nothing much, as long as I've got something to write for my report. That's fair, but did you know that this poem is also a puzzle? This piqued your curiosity. I didn't know that. A puzzle? He nods. Then, with a finger, he points to the first line of the poem, and then the second. Yeah, a puzzle. This is one of the few works of his that I find quite charming. Looking at where his fingers point, you try to look for the puzzle he's speaking of, but despite reading through the sonnet carefully, you couldn't seem to find the puzzle he was talking about. He must be fucking with you. Trying one last time, you scan the words. Is it Sarah Anna Lewis? You feel a pat on your head. Don't pat me. Making you tilt your neck in his direction as you try to face him. Good job, you got it right. A smile made its way on his face, pride swelling in your chest. You look back at your paper on the poem specifically, a newfound sense of respect for the sonnet after knowing its hidden meaning. I cheated. This just adds to more content for your paper, and maybe it'll help you get an even higher grade for it. Maybe hitting the books isn't so bad. You lean back in the chair, nearly forgetting you're literally on someone's lap, causing you to accidentally press your back into his chest, making him jerk on the seat. Okay. This surprised you. You yelped and quickly stood up from the chair, turning to apologize to him. His previously relaxed posture is now back to being stiff as a board. His face is bright red, resembling a tomato. Leaning forward on his seat, his chin rests atop the table with a flustered expression on his face. I'm so sorry. I forgot I was sitting on you. Oh my god. I was sitting on him. The sudden realization hits you, and you quickly want to bury yourself in the ground. The student before you remains silent, his face still burning red and his eyes wide as plates. He shakily grabs his book and quickly stands up from his seat. Without sparing you any time nor breath, he walks out towards the exit with a bit of a limp in his step. He's slanging? You feel like ripping your hair out. You did all that embarrassing stuff for some guy who refuses to give you a seat in the library. You could have gone to a different spot without having to do all that. Yeah, well, there's no point in dwelling on it any more than necessary. Returning to your paper, you stack them along with the books you borrowed. Glancing at the poem one last time, you couldn't help the smile that made its way on your lips. Jess seems to catch on to your confusion and the lack of numbers and stepped up to explain. You're looking for Gio. He said he was going somewhere else. I'm not quite sure where though. I see. Not that I was actively trying to look for the guy, even though I really was, because he is so gorgeous and he is the love of my life. He actually kind of scares me. That too, but I mean, it is what it is. It's fine. Everything's fine. This is fine. You recall the look he gave you right before you left for the library. Just remembering it sends a shiver down your spine. You consider tugging on Crowe's sleeve, wanting to seek for answers about his other friend. But seeing how he is going along with the group with a genuine smile on his face, you bite your lower lip. You couldn't bear to ruin the mood. I should head to my next class. Not sparing them any more of your time, you swiftly turn on your heel and rush out of the scene. She's quite a runner, isn't she? Daryl perks up beside Crow's solemn face while the two stare at your departing form. Crow sighs and looks down at the floor. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Wait. The taller jock says nothing and gives his friend a look of pity, rubbing Crow's back as he tries to think of something, anything to reassure the man next to him. Daryl's eyes suddenly lit up, a smile appearing on his lips. Taking advantage of Crow's vulnerability, he swiftly snatched his friend's phone from his pocket, the latter not even batting an eye at his phone that was taken. Instead, he questions him. The jock simply messes with his phone, his tongue sticking out of the corner of his lips. What are you doing? Trying to fix your love life. You're welcome, by the way. What are you even talking about? Crow's eyes grew wide at the block of text Daryl showed him. Give me that back! Daryl simply laughs at Crow's failed attempts in getting his phone back. Daryl waves Crow's blue mobile phone in the air. You've got no choice, Crowe. I've already sent the message. Daryl, you sneaky bastard! You'll call me your favorite wingman after this. The jock winks. A few feet away from the men, Brittany and Jess simply observed the two males. They turned to each other and shrugged, wondering what Daryl could have done to make Crowe flustered like that. Barely making it to your next class, you slid the classroom door open, earning a few looks from the students around you inside. However, you noticed something, or rather, someone familiar. The same tuft of black hair with green highlights sat at the back, and instead of his red novel that you've come to associate him with, he is now scribbling in a sketchpad. He didn't seem to notice your arrival. How come you've never seen him in this class before? Is it because he's seated all the way at the back of the classroom? If that's the case, then he must have been really quiet, and you probably never got the time to notice him come and go. How odd, you thought. You make your way to your seat, not breaking your gaze from the tall, dark veil. Once you reach your seat, you couldn't help your growing curiosity at whatever he was doing in a sketchpad. Coincidentally, the desk right in front of him was unoccupied. Could you sit there instead? Settling with that idea, you moved to the desk in front of him and placed your things down. He remained unaware of your presence. You sit on the chair facing the opposite direction as you casually place your arms on the backrest. When I say he has my entire heart, I mean that. I mean it. I mean it, because look at him. Look at this cutie patootie. Like, he has no business. Wonderful art. Beautiful art. Fantastic art. Y'all deserve a raise. You observe the way he draws with his pencil. Each stroke he creates moves with so much elegance that you thought he was dancing with it. A face of a person dressed in peasant clothes. They seem to be dancing while a being larger in size was right next to them. You lean closer, attempting to see what he's drawing. Oh, that was... But was left startled when the book suddenly slammed closed, causing you to jerk back. You tilted your head up and met eyes with the very same wide, reddish eyes of the boy back in the library. You give him an awkward smile and a peace sign. He kept staring at you. Hey there! Sorry for what happened back in the library. You're my classmate. That's a surprise. I hope we get along. Same. Okay. Being caught in the act wasn't part of your plan. Quickly serving. Quickly swerving around, you are now properly facing forward, ignoring the burning stare of the male behind your head. Oh. Art exhibit project featuring various eras of art as part of our thesis. This time, we're tasked with expressionism. Hope you all got your partners already by this time. For this term, I'm tasking you all with creating 3 works based on the exhibit's theme. This is where you want to throw your desk out the window. How could you forget? You weren't present during the previous meeting and you absolutely knew no one in the specific class except the really cute, broody, artistic, horny boy behind you. Why were you taking art again? Oh, right. Your father was an artist as he was a farmer. It's all for him. And maybe you can make a name for yourself with your works if ever your life as a gardener wouldn't turn out the way it should. All part of plan B. And if all fails, I've got plan C and D. I have yet to make the rest. Or I guess I'll die. You shake away your silly thoughts. The problem is now at hand. You do not have a partner to work with. Eventually, you are forced out of your seat since your seatmate's partner will occupy it for the class. You curse at yourself. You could only hope you're not the only student who didn't get their own partner for this class. But looking around, it seems everyone is calm and collected. Were you the only one panicking here? Note, the only one standing because from the corner of the classroom, there's a single student not bothering to stand up from their seat. Their seatmate had left to pair with someone else, leaving a vacant spot. Is he not bothering with his partner? Unless... Hey there! Hi! Hey babes! He looks up from his desk and looks at your approaching form before you're eventually standing next to him. It's you. Seems like you're a bit lost there. Hold on. Okay, pause. Pause for 2 seconds. In the other one, he was so shy, he like rarely spoke. But in this one, he's shy, but he's sassy. And I am eating it up like dinner. Oh my God, I'm eating it up like strawberry shortcake. Because how cute. How cute. How cute is that? He's like so stinking sassy. I love it. Ah, I'm dying for it. Okay. All right. Okay. And scene. Seems like you're a bit lost there. Do you have a partner? No. Well, just your luck then. Me neither. It's so interesting. It's like we're very like, hey, you're our friend now. We're taking you. And he's like, whatever. I love them. It's like, whatever. I'm in love with you. So, do you want to be partners? Yay! So, I would give everything to you, honey. Sure, why not? You took the vacant seat right beside him, his book now tucked away, and on his desk is now a pen and a piece of paper, seemingly ready to take notes. Hey, I never got your name. It's not quite important. Well, I should at least know what to call you instead of Green Street Guy. He raised an eyebrow at your silly nickname. Solvian Brugmansia. Oh my God. Love him. You turned to Sol as he took out his own charcoal pencil and his sketchbook for the class. You got any plans for our first display, Sol? Expressionism is about conveying one's feelings, right? The easiest for now is a portrait. Let's use her face as an example. My face? He lets out a low chuckle. There, you're making a cute expression right now. That can be considered as expressionism. Just melts away. Oh my goodness. Huh? He seems like he already has an idea of what to do. And judging from the half-filled sketchbook of his, he's quite familiar with the concept of art. Me, however, am not that good at art. I'm pretty great at art. I'm not good at art, Sol. I'm not great at art. Everyone starts somewhere. Would you like me to draw you first then? If it's not too much of a trouble. Just great, Sleepy. First time partnering up with this new guy and you're already letting him do all the work. I'm no better than those classmates of mine who just push their workload onto somebody else. Not at all. Well, we'll let it slide this one time. With that, Sol takes his own sketchbook and pencil, sitting upright and facing you. You straighten your back, sitting properly as if you're about to take an ID photo. Is this okay? Relax your shoulders. Feel at home. Expressionism is about expressing yourself. I suppose whatever you like. Oh, okay. Your breathing stopped. You can feel Sol hand brushing against your forehead to your ear. Tucking. No, not the description. Not the description. Hold on, guys. You can feel Sol's hand brush along your forehead to your ear, tucking away a stray hair that's covering your face. You could almost smell his mint in his breath. You were sure you were bright as a cherry by now. Sol leaned back and didn't say anything as he began sketching, his eyes hopping from the paper to your face, and you swear every time you meet his gaze, your heartbeat quickens. You averted your gaze, distracting yourself from his focus as you try to calm your beating heart. The class eventually comes to an end, and your professor gives one last reminder to the class before dismissing everyone. You better not make me look funny. What makes you think that? It's not like I gave you a mustache or something. What? 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 Let me see! I'm kidding. He didn't know what came to him when he raised his hand to try and cup your cheek. He stopped midway, however, and tucked it into his pocket. He said, "You're so pretty." Did you say something, Sol? Nothing. You nod and look at your phone screen and saw a new notification from an unknown number. This must be Sol's. Sup? You type so differently from how you look. From the corner of your eye, you can see Sol's eyebrow raised at your text. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. You chuckled and he rolled his eyes. I am eating it up. I am eating this up. I love this. Oh my god. Your stare lingers on Sol's face. A smile is embedded on his handsome features while he looks at the block of text on his phone. Meeting Sol. Back then, you struggled to form friends throughout college that were convinced. Back then, you struggled to form friends throughout college that you were convinced you would be graduating without making a single connection, which would undoubtedly disappoint your father, and you were ready for it. You need to learn how to do punctuation. You thought to yourself, these are odd people, eccentricities at most. All misunderstood people, all human, all the same. A sudden wave of determination washed over you. With a hand on your chest, you stared into Sol's eyes, making him tilt his head slightly. Sol, I want to be friends with you. I can sense that people tend to misunderstand you and your overall personality. Sol is quiet, but his gaze remains on you with a lingering curiosity. But let me be different. I want to know you. I want to understand you, Sol. If you let me. He blinked once and then twice, and then chuckled. He puts a large head on top of your head and then ruffles your hair. Stop with the petting, sir. Alright. Sol, I just said I love this. Please don't make it weird, babe. My darling. My sweet. Darling Sleepy. He's just a little crazy. It's okay. See you later, pumpkin. I don't like the way you're staring into the screen. I don't like the way you're staring at me. He's not staring at Sleepy. He's staring at Sleepy, and I don't like it. I do, but I don't. Okay. See you later, honey bun. A sudden small vibration came from your pocket. Curious, you took out your phone, expecting another message from Sol. It was from Crowe. Your heart leapt. Your heart leapt from your chest, recalling the events that happened earlier this afternoon. Can you meet me after class? I'll be in front of the gate. You didn't send a reply. Turning off your phone, you quickly made haste to the exit. You approached the school gate, keeping an eye out for your friend. Sure enough, there stood Crowe in all his glory, postured straight with his arms behind his back, his bag neatly placed on the floor, and his feet tapping on the concrete nervously. You yourself were growing nervous with each step you took as you drew closer and closer to him. When you reached his side and made your presence known with a small greeting, you noticed the way Crowe's eyebrows raised in mild surprise, as if not expecting you to actually show up before him. He cleared his throat before composing himself properly, his body now facing in your direction. You wanted to see me? Yes, He lifted his bag from the floor and sinks the strap over his shoulder and offers his hand for you to take. I'd like to take you somewhere. It's near the... Where are we going, Crowe? I'd like to take you somewhere. It's a bit near the park. I'll lead you if you let me. Let's take his arm. Let's be extra. You didn't take his outstretched hand, but rather boldly wrapped your arm around his, earning a look of surprise from his azure eyes. He did not question you for the matter, but a wide smile made its way onto his features while a slight blush dusted his cheek. He holds on to your arm tight and leads both of you away from the school grounds. By the time you and Crowe made it to the park, it was already sundown and stars slowly started painting the sky. Is this the place you're trying to lead me to, Crowe? Not quite. Come here. You follow him through a thicket of bushes, surprised by the stony stairs. Though a bit run down, it seems sturdy enough to step foot on. Looking up, you see it leads somewhere else above. You and Crowe make your way up the stony stairs, some red and orange leaves clearing the steps as you and him avoid a few puddles from the rain this morning. We're here. Come on, it's a sight to behold. Aw, not him taking us on an impromptu little date. Taking what? Soul still has my heart. This is terrible. Why does this man have me in a chokehold? Your eyes went wide in awe upon seeing the scenery before you, replicating the one Crowe has on his face. Not once did you take in consideration the idea of sightseeing within the city. Everything felt unfamiliar, intimidating even. You can't blame yourself for feeling so distressed about the idea of traveling, especially since you had no one within a city to guide you. But gazing at the sea of lights that stretched out before you made you realize that you have been missing much of what the city has to offer. Looking further ahead, you take notice of a tall tower decorated with bright neon pink lights. A little bit to its right is a movie theater, next to a mall. The row of other buildings with multicolored lights seemed endless. The more you scan the area, the more you see unfamiliar places that you didn't even know exist. Your moment of silence while admiring the city view was interrupted by the sound of rustling grass. You turn around, finding the source of the sound. Crowe had made himself comfortable lying on the ground under an old tree. You see his backpack leaning on its trunk. How cute! I'm here for it. Let me move for all my Crowe girlies. I'll put myself up here. For all the Crowe girls out there. He's so cute. You turn back from the city and walk over to where Crowe lay, deciding to keep him company. His gaze on the starry night shifts to you as you sit down beside him, and a hopeful smile grows on his face. Judging from your face all lighten up, you like the place, huh? Care to join me? Accepting his invitation, you give Crowe a slight nod that brought joy to his eyes. You stretch a bit and lay on your back right next to him, your fingers barely touching. You and Crowe look up at the night sky. You observe how the stars twinkle as if the rain from this morning never happened. How did you manage to find this place? Oh, okay. You tilt your head to look at him and he gives you a closed-eyed chuckle before his twinkling gaze meets yours. Take it you've never heard of Lily Smith, have you, Sleepy? Lily Smith? Crowe points up at the old tree that stood above you, then returns his gaze to the stars. They say that this tree, that the humans came in contact with, is blessed by the gods that guard this land. This very same tree here used to bear multiple fruits. They say that they never rot, and are free for anyone to take. Or so what the popular interpretation says anyway. There are other versions of the myth? Crowe shrugs his shoulders. Moving his gaze from the sky back to the tree, he stares at it, as if trying to decipher something just by the mere look of it. There are other versions, yes. Some say the fruits are actually poisonous. Others say it's only meant for the gods and no human must take from it lest they be cursed. That sounds quite gruesome. It's no wonder they would rather use the lighter version of the myth. Crowe lets out a low chuckle at your statement, nodding a bit, as if agreeing with you. I guess that might be one of the reasons. He's sleepy. He pauses before speaking again, and you perk an eyebrow at him. Yeah? This seems like a silly question. No, lay it on me. Tell me what it is. Do you believe in gods? Alright, Solvian Brugmansia. And Crowe and Ichibod Crane. Alright now, we're entering some dangerous territory. We're entering dangerous territory. I'm scared. I'm scared. That question caught you by surprise. You never thought of Crowe as the religious type. More so being interested in gods, or maybe he's just curious about the idea of them. This may be the moment to know for sure. I do. Gang gang, why not? Anything's possible. I do. They are the very beings that blessed our lands and soil. Back in my hometown, we would go to worship our village's patron goddess church and pray for a good harvest. I don't believe him that way, but it's okay. You recall your visits to the village temple with your father. Being regulars, you visited enough to the point where you became friends with some of those who resided within the church. Every time you dropped by to worship, you and your father would offer your healthiest crops to thank your patron. You hadn't gone to church for a while, probably because the city doesn't have a church for your patron deity. Your goddess had more followers near your village, all the way to the south. Crowe gives you a nod of understanding. How about you? Do you believe in gods? You turn to Crowe, repeating the same question he asked you earlier. He scans your face, your eyes, your nose, and then your lips. His lingering gaze made you shrink back, your heart fluttering slightly. Crowe seems to realize something to himself, and he returns his attention to the stars above, sighing. I don't. This surprises you, and Crowe laughs at your visible shock and confusion. What? You didn't think I'd be a non-believer? If I have to be honest, no. And why so? You kind of dress like a priest. That is so rude. Crowe's azure eyes grew wide as he broke into one of the loudest laughs you ever heard from him. He laughs so hard that he has to clench his stomach and wipe away the tears that stain the corners of his eye. He's still chuckling when he unbuttons the first two studs of his black polo, revealing more of his collarbone to you. Oh, put it back. Put it back. Put it back. What you doing? You quickly avert your eyes, finding the tree leaves to be interesting at the moment as you feel that familiar heat rush to your cheeks. How's that? Less formal. For fuck's sake, Ichiban! It feels like I'm seeing a Victorian woman's ankles for the first time! I love it! Crowe grins at your reaction. It took both of you a few more seconds of going back and forth with his teasing and you reprimanding him before you finally calmed down. Not the Victorian woman's ankles. Editor Sleepy, you can keep that scene in. You do have to take the one of Soul jacking off out though, just for safety reason. It's too powerful. The next few moments were spent with you pointing at the stars and Crowe teaching you the constellations with a gentle whisper-like voice. You both fell silent, basking in the peace of the night. As the silence prolonged, Crowe fell deep in thought. About today, Sleepy, and about the guys. So we're moving on to this conversation next, huh? I've got to be honest. Daryl put me up to this little hangout while I was feeling down in the dumps. I just realized his titties is out. Focus, Sleepy, focus. We must stay focused, my brothers. We must stay focused. I think I do have to thank him for forcing me and actually gave me the courage to talk to you after class. He lets out a breath he didn't know he was holding, refusing to meet your eyes. I don't know if I upsetted you by suddenly dragging you into this group. I probably should have told you about them a long time ago, huh? I'm sorry, Sleepy. You bit your lip. You suspected that this might have upset Crowe by making him think that you didn't like the group's presence at all, and that he's forcing you to bend to his will. One thing you know about Crowe is that he's never the type to demand, to control, or to be king. Sometimes, nope. To be a tyrant. These are very specific words. You didn't do anything wrong, Crowe. In fact, I should be the one apologizing. You speak up without thinking. Crowe turns his head to look at you, his gaze swirling with confusion at your apology. I'm sorry for making you feel bad. I didn't mean to upset you, You swallowed the lump in your throat, trying your best to hold the tears that were threatened to spilling. I just thought you'd forget about me after. They're amazing people. Brittany's pretty. Daryl's a fun guy. Gio's so cool and just as loyal. They're a great group. And most importantly, you're amazing, Crowe. You're all amazing. But not me. I'm not sure if I could ever be part of the group. You're always hidden in the shadows. No matter how much you tried to fit in, you were never to be considered. People treated you like someone to toss away, someone to use. You are worth nothing but an extra. That's what she always tells you. You couldn't hold it back anymore. A sob escapes your lips. Your vision slowly blurs as you feel a wet droplet of tears finally sliding down your cheeks from your eyes. Who is she? Who is she always tells you. That sounds so specific. Okay, just keep reading, Sleepy. For a moment, you saw panic in Crowe's expression, seemingly not expecting you to burst into tears. He reaches out to hold your hand. And suddenly, you feel a pair of arms circle around you as he pulls you closer to him, letting you sob on his shoulder. He says nothing while rubbing a hand along your back, allowing you to cry, not caring if his clothes getting wet with your tears. Once you calm down, Crowe rests his hand on your back, not letting you out. You're amazing. You have no idea how much tears you've shed tonight. Sometimes you think it's silly and childish to cry over what was probably a trivial matter to some, but the urge to sob returned after hearing those words from him. Do you want me to call you the Amazing Spider-Man just to prove that you are amazing? That's okay, I really like that line. That was good. That made you giggle a bit as you wipe your tear-stained cheeks. With whatever strength you could muster, you slowly pulled away and lifted yourself up. Hot boy Crowe! Did his braid come out? Oh my god. You sit yourself up, hovering over Crowe. Stop giving me these good Crowe shots. Ah! They're too good. And then you see the very same man that made you cry by literally doing nothing. His braid came loose. You didn't know when, but his hair pulled around his head. Crowe stares up at you with serene eyes, remaining silent as a gentle smile plastered on his face. There was nothing but the moon illuminating his tender features, yet to your vision, he seems to glow. I didn't know we were getting here this soon. We're gonna kiss Crowe! Oh my god! You have no idea where you got the guts to do the things you did next, but the feeling of his lips pressed into yours made the butterflies rattle in your stomach, threatening to burst out of their cage. Your heart beats fast like you just ran a marathon as you feel the heat rush to your cheeks. Crowe freezes against you, and for a moment there, you thought you just made a huge mistake. You are prepared to pull away and apologize, but he makes a move you didn't expect. The gentle grip that Crowe has on the small of your back slithers its way back to the back of your head, fingers intertwined with your hair as he presses you closer to him, returning your kiss with a fervent sense of desperation. His other hand holds your waist in a tight embrace, not wanting to let you go. Out of your own surprise, you break the kiss by pulling away slightly. Crowe chases after you, leaning in close to capture your lips in a deeper and more passionate manner than before. Okay, Crowe. You felt like putty in his embrace as he cups your cheek with one hand, his lips needily asking for more access to yours. In response, you shut your eyes tight and your arms wrap around his shoulders, granting his desires by tilting your head against his. The both of you losing all sense of the world as you fell deep into the sensation of your lips against each other. He eventually pulls away, a string of saliva connecting your lips with his own. His breaths are heavy, matching yours, and he beheld your red face and hair messier than before. He tucks a stray strand of your hair behind your ear before rubbing your cheek with his thumb. Crowe scans the disheveled figure above him. You can see all the way his eyes dilute the longer he keeps his gaze on your face. I knew that we were stargazing tonight, but I didn't expect the brightest star to be just in front of me. He got me with that one. He got me with that one. I would be a Crowe girly for that one. I would be a Crowe girly just for this line right here. You giggle at his cheesy pickup line. God, I like you, Sleepy. I liked you the first time I laid eyes upon you. I couldn't tell you because I was scared I might lose whatever we have at the moment, that I would lose you. I couldn't bear to live a life without you. Crowe? Crowe, I like you too, stupid. I've liked you ever since too. You hear chuckle at the silly thought you recall, the way you've been doubting your feelings, his feelings. His eyes grow wide, his jaw falling slack as he tries to comprehend the words that came out of your lips. He blinks once, twice, before a smile as bright as the stars above appear on his face. Is this a dream? I hope not. If I'm in a dream, please tell this sleeping me to never wake up. It's so sickeningly cute. I want to live in this dream forever. Will this convince you it's not a dream? You lean closer to his face and place a peck on his cheek. Maybe. But I think this would definitely convince me. He captures your lips swiftly, distracting you when he moves to bury his face in the crook of your neck, to nibble at the soft flesh, and you gasp. Now people will know you're mine. Hey now! Crowe laughs out heartily at your reaction, and you simply roll your eyes. You couldn't stay mad at him. He dusts off the grass that sticks to his shirt before giving you a once-over and gently swallowing away the leaves in your hair and clothes. You get up and Crowe retrieves his bag, almost forgotten by the tree. He looks back at you and takes your hand silently. It was time to go. It was time to leave this magical place. You look at the stars, at how brightly they shone. You gave the sky one last glance before turning away, hand clasped tightly around as you let him lead you away. Y'all, we are going to see my Hugo. We're going to go see my Hugo because I miss him. You glance at the blonde-haired woman as she waits for your answer. You turn to Crowe. He too was anticipating an answer from you as a nervous drop of sweat rolled down his temple. Why? You've got to be honest. Crowe was right. All of this is still quite overwhelming to you. Throughout your years here, you'd only gotten used to Crowe's presence and his alone. But then yesterday he introduced his new group of friends you didn't know he had. You're happy for him, you really are. But why does it feel like a lie whenever you tell yourself that? And why does your heart swell and your stomach churn from the thought of him not being by your side all the time? The horrible feeling of green envy and raging jealousy consumes you ever since the thought came across your mind. A sudden lump made its way to your throat, hindering you from forming words as you feel your eyes threatening to water while your shoulders start trembling. You need to get out of here. I need to go. Sleepy. You ignore him in the group as you push him away, earning a shocked look on both Brittany and Crowe's faces. Sleepy, wait. Damn, I didn't think Brittany would make someone cry by being so bad at communication. For fuck's sake, Daryl, shut up. I didn't mean it, okay? What? I'm right, aren't I? I'm going after her. Huh? Ichabod. Crowe didn't listen to his friends calling out his name, especially Geo. Why? As he ran after Sleepy, rushing out of the room, hoping to catch up to her. You shove through the sea of students, receiving some irritated looks after pushing them aside. Their looks don't matter to you, however, as you try to get out of the crowd as quickly as possible. Sleepy, wait! Crowe's booming voice behind you isn't helping your rising anxiety, and your tears now slowly cascading down your cheeks. Sleepy, wait! Please wait! What's wrong? Stop! Crowe cries out with each breath he takes. You keep on ignoring him. You turn the corner, hoping to lose Crowe in the crowd. The worried tone in his voice just makes the ache in your chest more and more painful. You didn't care how many floors you ascended as you ran up one floor to another, nearly tripping on the school's bad architecture. Before you knew it, you made it to the school's rooftop. Pressing an ear to the door, you didn't hear Crowe's call anymore, and you let out a breath that you've been holding. And then, everything slowly crashed down on you. You fell down on your knees and hugged them, not bothering how dirty the floor is anymore. You look up as a few drops of rain slowly drop from the sky as the reflection of the salty tears now staining your cheeks. I am so pathetic. Crowe is his own person. I feel so selfish to even think I'm his only friend like he is to me. Of course he has other friends besides me. That's healthy. Why does this hurt? Is it because I'm just nobody? All of them look so cool, especially the Brittany girl. She's tall and pretty. Heck, I just might mistake her for a model if it weren't for a uniform. She seems like Crowe's type. The familiar ugly feeling made its way to your chest. You tightly clenched your fist to where your heart is aching. You want to rip it out of your chest and toss it to the edge of this building. Will he leave me if he deems me unworthy? Was I ever worthy to be beside him? All right, now. It's starting to get to me. I tried to ignore it, but I swear to God. You can't think anymore. You don't want to think anymore. The tears now flooding your eyes as your sniffles turn to sobs and you bury your face in your knees as you cry your heart out. The rain now heavy as if resonating with your sorrows. You had no idea how long you've been crying, but you've run out of tears to shed, and now you're staring into blank space for a while now. Maybe it's time to head back. You look up at the dark skies, the rain slightly calmer, but still not stopping its downpour. Standing up and dusting your back, you were about to grab the handle when you heard another voice from the other side. Your heartbeat quickened. You swore you were alone when you got here, and you were blocking the door the entire time, so someone coming in would be near impossible. You were curious how this individual managed to get past you. Or maybe they were just here before you. Who knows? Forgetting your initial plan, you slowly approach the voice, making sure not to make too much noise as possible. It's Hugo! He's the love of my life! Just as expected, there's someone beautiful there. Let me date Hugo. Please. Please let me just marry Hugo. Thank you. A young man in a green vest, must be his uniform, hair in the shade of light blue like how they remind you of the skies before it darkened, tied in a low ponytail by a white ribbon. He seemed to be in deep conversation with whoever it was behind the phone he held to his ear. You can't quite hear the conversation he was having, much less understand what he was talking about. You assume he is speaking a whole different language. It's Japanese. You're guessing the student is a foreigner. Seeing that he seems to pose no threat, you're about to leave when you felt a hand grab your shoulder. Matter of fact, why the music been off? There's been no music, you guys. You stood frozen to your spot as you felt a huff of breath on your neck. Something cold and sharp touched the side of your throat, and you were no fool to understand quickly that it was a small knife that he's threatening you with. So, Hugo? Hugo. Who are you? Speak. Unless you want to get yourself into big trouble. We're gonna go save. And I'm scared. Who are you? Speak. Unless you want to get yourself into big trouble. Big Daddy Hugo's kind of scary, so I'm Sleepy Bug from Class 4B. Please do not kill me. You yelp out. The hand on your shoulder went loose as you feel him withdraw the knife. Taking it as a chance to push yourself off of him, turning around to face the blue-haired, knife-wielding student who you had the urge to throw a punch in his face. Instead, you did it. Rather, what you came face to face with is a look of confusion across his face and a hand under his chin. He isn't even looking at you. How rude. I shouldn't be this happy to see you go. Sleepy Bug. Why does that name sound familiar? In Class 4B, too. Now's your chance. While he's distracted by his own thoughts, you pathetically threw a punch at him. He, however, merely catches your fist with a single palm, his other hand never leaving his chin as he keeps pondering over his thoughts. Why did you even bother? You were never the strongest in your family. I remember now. Hugo! You swore you saw a light bulb hit the top of his head. He let go of your fist and pockets his tiny knife, which turns out to be a foldable pocket knife, and gives you a bright smile as if he didn't just threaten your life mere seconds ago. What impeccable timing you have at the moment, Sleepy. He puts his hands together like a prayer and bows down, double taking his sudden shift in his attitude. In need of your help. You see, I can't attend my next class due to some familial emergency, and I promised my partner I'd be there. But seeing you're in Class 4B, can you take over for me? What? Who does this guy think he is? Your next class is art appreciation with Mr. Allen, correct? And how does he know that your next class is art appreciation with Mr. Allen? Whoa, hold on. First of all, who the heck are you? Second, why do you have a pocket knife within school campus? And third, why would I agree to your terms after you literally just threatened my life just like that? As if realizing the situation, he lets out a gasp, his mouth forming the shape of an O. He fixes his palms when he gives you a wink and a thumbs up. Hi, I'm Hugo Sugimoto. I'm from Class 4A. The name's Hugo Sugimoto. I'm from Class 4A, but I often have classes mixed with Mr. Allen to catch up on my missing subjects from my past years. This guy is a clear troublemaker. He just rubs the back of his head and chuckles as he continues with his next question. Taking out the pocket knife, he dangles it like it's some toy and presents it to you, like it's the most exquisite thing you've ever laid your eyes on. You rolled your eyes. This? He waves the pocket knife left and right. It's just for self-defense. The guards are quite shitty at their jobs and expecting each bag. Things as little as these are easy to slip by. But we don't need that information for later. Plus, it's quite useful if you're ever in a pickle. We're in school grounds. Just use scissors like any other normal human being. He puts the tool back in his pocket. As for your last question, his expression relaxed, his goofy persona thrown out the window as quick as it came, his tone now a bit serious as his gaze fixated on you. Do you have friends, Sleepy? Okay. That kind of offended you a little bit. Yes, I do. Yeah, but Don't you ever feel like you're not doing much for them? That made you shut your thoughts up. Not gonna lie, he's not really the best guy out there. He blabbers on with the thought of whoever his friend is, but judging from the way he talks, he seems to care for him, admire him even. But people tend to misunderstand him quite a lot. Heck, even I did. I thought I couldn't trust this guy with anything. Like how you don't trust Crowe with anything before. Sorry for threatening you with a knife, Sleepy. But what I'm saying is that, oftentimes, I can never be there for him. I've given up on the thought of staying by his side. Hugo. Everything about Hugo is a death flag. Like, not he's gonna kill you, but like he's good. Please don't do that. Please, you will see me cry. I will cry because I am attached to Hugo. But you, however, there was a gleam in his eyes you couldn't seem to decipher. Maybe you'll understand him. Get to the point. Please be his partner in your art class. He's down on his knees like a begging clown. The serious tone he had beforehand is now replaced with a blabbermouth crybaby before you. Seriously, he had you fooled there for a hot second. Okay. I'll be your friend's art class partner. Get the fuck up. You mean it? Thank you, Sleepy. I knew you were the right person. Who's this friend of yours anyway? His name's Sol. Don't worry. You won't miss him. Without sparing another second and trying to ask for more information from him, he gives you a friendly pat on the shoulder before leaning in and whispering. Wipe your tears, Sleepy. Crying doesn't suit people like you. With that, he's going down the stairs. You only stared at the now open door, your feet rooted to the cold tile floor with pure shock. How does he know I was crying? He heard you, girl. We wasn't exactly quiet about our sobbing. We said, okay. So this time we're going to stay silent just to see what happens. Not talking, huh? You have the right to remain silent. But in this case, I need you to talk. You feel the sharp edge of the knife cut through your skin. The stinging sensation made your head spin as you slowly started breathing fast. In your state of panic, you try to jab at his abdomen with your elbow, hoping to catch him off guard to escape, only to have him grab the same elbow and twist it behind your back, earning a loud squeal from you. Ooh, Hugo's a freak. You are now walking down the hallway. A few students were headed to their own respective classes, while some went to where the library was. Sleepy! One heart attack after the other. You swear this day refuses to give you a break. You weren't ready to face Crowe yet. He's probably worried sick, especially after what you pulled him minutes ago. You were probably lost in your own thoughts for too long that you suddenly felt arms wrap around you. Crowe's face buried in the crook of your neck as he held you tight. His shoulders were shaking. There was no one else behind you. It was just you and him. I looked around campus for you. Where have you been? You bit your lip, not giving him a chance to hear your voice. Crowe pulls away from your neck, but still kept his hold around you. You refused to look him straight in the eyes, and he didn't push you for it, already satisfied with you in his arms. A sigh escaped his lips. With one hand, he cupped your cheek and rubbed it with his thumb as he observed your red and swollen eyes. He bit his lower lip, a flash of regret made apparent within his eyes. Just then, you heard a lone student call on Crowe's name. You swore that Crowe's eyebrow arched and twitched as if irritated. There you are, Ichiban. Your presence is required by the student council. Oh. Don't fucking care. What was that, Ichiban? I couldn't hear you. Hold on. Yeah, now. We know that Sol is crazy. But is Crowe crazy? Is Crowe crazy? And which is even more terrifying because that makes him the crazy that he's like the handsome serial killer crazy. So you wouldn't suspect it but his freak is something that I cannot match. Like, he might be worse than Soul. Like, Soul's crazy, but he's crazy. Soul's crazy, but he is crazy. I'm scared. I'll be right there. Crowe says, his back still facing the student. The student merely raised a brow, but he didn't insist on any further and walks away in the opposite direction. Crowe lets out a tired sigh as he returns his full attention to you. Interesting. Give me a text once you're ready to talk. Pulling away, albeit hesitantly, he rummages for something in his pockets before taking one of your hands and placing something in it. Without turning your head, you look down and saw a handkerchief on your palm. I'll see you later, Sleepy. He turns on his heels and moves in the same direction where the student from before had headed. Once he was gone from your sight, you squeeze his handkerchief and use it to wipe your cheeks despite the salty tears that had dried at this point. Pocketing the blue handkerchief, you slowly made your way to your next class. Alright, we're going to go with the squad! Squad! Brittany hummed a sign of content before turning on her heel and heading towards classroom's exit, her 3 friends following behind her. Crowe looks back at you by the door, waiting for you. Catching up, you raise your head to meet his azure eyes once more. Your heartbeat quickens within your ribcage in response. You two, stop oogling each other and hurry up. Oh, Brittany! I love her. I miss Brittany! Brittany's exclamation made the both of you jump. You merely looked down, using your hair as a curtain to hide your reddened face. Crowe just rubbed the back of his neck. You two eventually followed behind Brittany and the rest of the group toward the cafe. The cafeteria is loud and crowded. The tables are filled with students while the rest are lined up at the counter grabbing their lunches. A groan escaped Brittany's lips as she looked around for a sign of a vacant table that you could all share. Could you two look for a vacant spot while the rest of us line up? Save us time that way. Yeah, sure, Britt. Let's go, Gio. Wrapping her arm around Gio's shoulder, while ignoring this obvious irritation from the said male, the two walk away in hopes of looking for an unoccupied table. As you sat down across from the two boys, Gio kept his eyes on you for quite a while, his gaze unwavering as he chewed on his lunch. What's up with this guy sizing you up? You and Gio stared at each other for a good and uncomfortable minute. Just as you were about to open your mouth to ask what the guy's deal is, Daryl's eyes went wide as he finally took notice of your presence in the table. I love Daryl. Right, sleepy, correct? What'd you bring for lunch? I mean, if you don't mind sharing, that is. Sharing what food I have or sharing the food itself? Why not both? As long as you're willing to share. Like this guy over here. Gio only rolled his eyes on the jock nudged his shoulder. Don't bother with Daryl. He'll take your food, even if you don't give him any. Hey now, not that cruel. You can't tell me these two. It's like Brittany and Jess. These two unrequited. Gio is unrequited for Daryl because Daryl is in love with Jess. It's a whole triangle. It's a whole thing. It's the whole thing. Hexagon. Say that to Brittany's lunch that you took yesterday. Jess was kind enough to give her lunch just to compensate. I was hungry. Had me do 3 laps around the field. While the two bicker on like children, you let out a small chuckle, eating the sandwich you took from your own container. Maybe these guys aren't as bad as you thought they might be. Then, at the corner of your eye, you notice Brittany's familiar wavy blonde hair, making her way to your table in tow with none other than Jess and Crowe, each with their own trays of food. A loud gasp escapes Brittany's lips, her mouth wide in shock. The food on her tray is now splattered across her white uniform. Brittany! Oops, sorry about that. You should have watched where you were going. Not the Powerpuff Girls. Bubbles, Blossom, Buttercup, what y'all doing here? What is y'all doing here? You guys are better than this. Okay, but jokes aside, I love the CGs. I love this. Multiple footsteps came near. A trio of girls showed themselves before you. The tallest of the bunch, the red-haired one, places a hand where her heart is, and she makes a mocking gasp at the mess. Brittany's eyes met with the redhead girl. Judging from the way Brittany's face twisted with rage, they seem to know each other. Okay, so we're gonna go and see if they have any new updates in the library, different CGs, different... Okay. So last time we chose to just sit, sit on him. All right, so this time we're going to find just somewhere else to sit and not sit in his lap. You don't want to deal with a stranger and anyone at this very moment, even if you want your seat back. Looking around, you made your mind and settle somewhere else, preferably far away from the presence of others. To your utter demise, the only vacant seat left was next to a table full of loudly gossiping students. You swear, out of all the places to do their idle and loud chatter, it had to be in the library. You don't feel like doing your research paper anymore. Heading to the fiction section of the library, you examine each book's spine, running your fingers along them and hoping that one would attract your attention. However, not a single one caught your eye among the many books you passed by. Instead, you've only gathered dust on your fingertips. You clicked your tongue and rubbed your fingers together, dusting them off. Ooh. Huh? A loud thud came from the opposite side of the shelf before you, causing it to wobble a bit, nearly knocking a few books down. This one is stronger, louder, and stronger than the last. A few books topple over next to you and nearly hit you on your head. Hey, watch it! You raised your voice. Silence. Then you hear a few shuffling noises beyond the shelf in front of you. You let out an irritated puff. Taking a few books that fell on the ground, you proceed to place them back in their original position on the shelves. How nice of us. Through a small crack between the books, you spotted a male student with hair dyed in red and spiked up hair. Donned with a leather jacket and ripped jeans, his facial piercings enhancing his intimidating look. Behind him, another guy dressed in nearly the similar fashion. The only difference is his hair was black as night and with blue highlights, a tank top instead of leather jacket and dog tags dangling from his neck. The two unfamiliar students sneered down on someone who you assumed they pushed to the ground. So that's where the thudding sounds came from. Hey, not gonna lie. What? He looks like the love of my life from what is it? Editor Sleeper, you know who I'm talking about. Makoto.
When I tell you this man is so fine. When I tell you this man is scrump-dilly-ishous. He make me wanna... Oh, God.
Don't make too much noise there, Mr. Creep McGee. You don't want us in trouble, do you? Gee, great. Another bullying situation. You rolled your eyes in annoyance. These bullies never know when to stop, do they? I've got to do something. But should I risk being caught in between all of that? Yes, you should always risk it. I've got to stop them. Leaving the remaining books, I quickly rushed out from the aisle and went across to where the bullies were. Stop! You let out a loud cry. From the cry in your voice, the bullies halt their movements, their heads slowly turned towards you. Your attention, however, was on the fallen male on the ground, his face battered and bruised as he struggled to keep his composure. He looked up at you, and your eyes met with reddish-orange ones. As soon as he registered who you were, however, his expression turned from mild irritation to shock. He shuffled on the ground in a hurry as he tries to get up, but the raven-haired bully must have noticed this and kicked him in the stomach, causing him to double over and clench his abdomen. What do you want, pipsqueak? Can't you see we're busy here? The tall, red-headed bully clicks his tongue. You could see his veins bulging from his forehead in irritation from your interruption. Standing up, he walks to where you are, a pocket knife still in his hand. Stop what you're doing right now! Oh yeah? And what are you gonna do about it? If you heard him, I'll scream and alert everyone in the library. The redhead just let out a mocking laugh, unfazed by your threat. Oh, he was fazed the last time we played this. Last time he just left. So what's that mean, huh? He looms over you, his attention now focused on you, leaving the other male on the ground. Stop. Don't go anywhere near her. You're here for me, right? Just leave her alone. Shut the fuck up. Oh. The raven-haired landed one more kick on the student in green's stomach. Taking advantage of his weak state, the bully clad in blue steps on the boy on the ground's back. Stop that! Whoa, whoa. Hold it right there, sweetheart. We're not done here. The bully in red before you suddenly wraps his arm around your lower back, then proceeds to bring his face closer to your own. Sir, your breath probably stinks. With his free hand, he forcibly grabs your chin and jerks your head towards his. Ooh, me cute. You hiss from the force he inflicted on your jaw. Let go of me, you bastard! You move your face away, his hot breath fanning over your cheek as you try to best to pull away from him. I told you his breath was hot. The redhead skins your face, a growing sinister smirk forming his lips. Not gonna lie, you're kind of pretty. No wonder this freak has the hots for you. How do you know this freak has the hots for me? He turns around to give a quick glance at the person on the ground. He just chuckled at the dark glare given to him. I bet your little boyfriend wouldn't mind a taste. But before you could register what he said, you felt a stinging sensation across your cheek, following something wet roll down your cheek. The sensation of the bully's tongue ran across your cheek, made you shiver in pure disgust. Ew. That is not sanitary. You can feel tears slowly forming in the corners of your eyes. The redhead, however, does not share the sentiment. His eyes roll back in pure ecstasy, a low moan escaping his mouth making you want to throw up. That's so weird. Get out of here. Taking advantage of his blissful state, with all your might, you kick him right between the legs. Get him, girl. Fuck. You pushed him away from you with all your might and gave him one last kick to his back, causing him to fall and land on one of the bookshelves, multiple books falling on him, a thick encyclopedia landing on his head, causing him to pass out. Oh no, not like a cartoon. Take that, asshole. I feel better than saying fucker. However, your little victory was short-lived as you felt an arm make its way around your throat, proceeding to block your windpipe. You're a naughty one, aren't you? Why don't I teach you a lesson? Let go of me! You clawed the blue bully's arm around you, trying desperately for him to release you as you slowly lose air in your lungs. Your vision is slowly beginning to dark. I can't breathe. Someone help! Ugh. The arm around your throat loosens. Your dizzy state caused you to lose your balance. You steadied your breathing while rubbing your throat, trying to ease the pain it just went through. The two bullies' bodies are now on the ground, all passed out and all left to the pair of black shoes before you. So did you just stab somebody? Looking up, it's the same guy in green. The bruise on his face is still visible. He didn't say anything while holding out his hand. Accepting it, you let out a small thank you as he pulled you up back on your feet. Now that everything seemed to settle down, you finally got a look at him closely. He's actually pretty tall, probably around 6 foot. All these guys are like just looming over me that in these games. I'm like 5'2". They're like, on a good day, I'm 5'5". In my heart. His hair deep green, nearing black, even black streaks pulled in half. His red eyes dart around the area, then back to you, then back to a random corner. An awkward minute passed. You should probably get you to the nervous off. I'm fine. There's no need. Meanwhile, you should get your cheek bandaged. He lifted a hand, seemingly trying to cup your cheek, but stopped himself midway, quietly tucking it behind his back and walking past you in a hurry. Okay, so we're jumping all the way to us meeting in the classroom again. You recall the events that happened back at the library. I can simply ignore it, or make something better out of it. Trust the process. He seems like he actually has an idea on what to do. And judging from the half-filled sketchbook, he's quite familiar with the concept of art. I'm not good at art, so I'm not that confident in my art skills yet. Is that okay? I don't want you to do all the work. Everyone starts somewhere. As long as you help me, well, I appreciate the concept of art. You'll do fine, Sol said, relaxing in his seat, taking out his sketch pad and pencil. You sit back and relax as well, tucking a loose strand of hair and fixing your hair as if you're about to take a picture. Sol notices this, and you swear you saw the edges of his lips twitch upward. It's my boy. The sound of... Oh, no, give me my baby daddy back. The sound of pencil against paper filled the classroom. You on your seat as Sol looked up at you and back to the paper from time to time. Whenever he gazes at you, you swear his eyes go half-lidded, as if in a dreamy daze. But you didn't think much about it. Thank you. What was that? He stopped mid-strokes on his paper and finally locked gaze with you. His sketch pad covers half of his eyes as he speaks. I'm not blushing, I'm fine. Thank you, Sleepy, for helping me back in the library. Oh, it's not a problem. You're in quite a pickle and no one bothered to help you out. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't save you there. Well, you saved me the trouble today. After that, Sol said nothing. His gaze remains on you as he continues on. A small tint of pink appeared on the tips of his ears. Using his sketch pad, he tried to cover his burning face behind the object. I'm loving his little elf ears. Small conversations were made then and there as he worked with the pencil whilst you kept the air afloat. Sorry, I wasn't able to make it in time. He started, and Sol's eyes just widened at you before shaking his head. Don't worry about that. This type of thing is usual for me. The usual for you? He sighed as if the thought alone is such a task on his hands while he continues on. Every bruise is worth it. Worth it. Sol then mumbled something under his breath, the grip on his pencil tightening in his grip before sighing and looking up at you. It was enough to calm him down and continue on his sketch, leaving you dumbfounded. Before you know it, class was over. Sol, however, is not done with his portrait of you, as his pencil still makes a few more marks and final touches to his sketch pad. Just a few more touches. There. Can I see? Of course. Sol hands his sketches to you and you gasp. This looks so good. The details and everything. How is he not even done yet? Sol, this looks amazing. How the fuck did you do this? By your compliment, he just rubbed the back of his neck and shrugged a little. A bit embarrassed by your compliment. Your aggressive compliment. I'd love to sketch once in a while. I'd often draw random people in parks when I go out. You couldn't help but admire him and his work. Although, I'd like to revise this if given more time. Can I keep it? I mean, right after our professor grades it, of course. Sol places a hand under his chin, thinking about it. Not sure. I think I could do better than that one. But I really like this one. He just chuckled. Alright, you can have it once I'm done and our professor grades it. But in return, I get to keep your portrait you'll make of me, alright? That's a fair deal. Sol agreed and you cheered. Cutie pies. Alright, we went back for the 800th time, and this time we're going to go back to our big daddy. Our baby daddy. Our son. He has a lot of titles. We're gonna give him coffee this time. Alright, I'll go get your coffee then. Not sparing him a moment to respond, you turn on your heels and head towards the coffee stand. The barista, who turned out to be one of the few students who do part-time work like you do, greets you and offers you their menu. You scan its contents. You cussed under your breath. You forgot to ask him what he likes. Maybe something simple would do for now? You look up at the barista, who is patiently waiting for you to take your order. Black coffee sounds sad. A latte will give you the tummy aches. Chocolate. Can I get a cup of mocha, please? Sure thing. One mocha drink coming right up. Jotting down your order and accepting your payment, the barista turns to work on their chosen drink. Not long after, she called upon your name and you thanked her, grabbing the drink from the counter and making your way back to the student in black, careful not to spill the cup's contents. His position on his seat remains the same, a leg over the other, an arm resting on the table, but the other now holding on the book he was previously reading. The smell of ground beans invades his senses. He closes his book and places it on the table before finally looking up at you, then at the cup of coffee. He says nothing as you place the warm beverage in front of him. He fixes his posture, then reaches out to grab the cup. He takes a whiff before taking a sip. He lets out a hum of approval, his eyes closing as if in a warm embrace. He says nothing as he continues drinking. He's so stinky cute. You seem to like it. Well, I gave you your coffee. Are you gonna move aside or not? The man just tuts at your impatient behavior, taking his book and stands up from his seat. Yes, you can have your sweet old chair back. Your thoughts are cut short when he takes a vacant chair and places it right next to your spot before sitting down and continuing on with his book. Your eye twitched. Well, technically you didn't say you want the whole table to yourself. Taking the now vacant seat you so coveted, you went to do your research, not minding the guy beside you, his presence, and occasionally glances towards you. Time eventually passed, and the next thing you know, the school bell rang. You and the guy didn't spare words to each other, packing your things and stocking your books to be borrowed on the table. Before he could get a word out, you quickly took off, rushing out of the library and not sparing him one last glance. His gaze lingers on your departing figure. Clenching the book in his hands, he bites his lower lip hard enough for the skin to break, frustration embedded in his features, seemingly cursing at himself for not being quick enough to grab your attention one last time. Sweet and adorable darling. Always quick on her feet. See you in next class, Sleeeeepy. Alright, that one was actually kind of creepy, soul. That was actually kind of creepy. You met up with your group of friends, seeing Daryl, Gio, and Crowe waiting by the lockers. Brittany coming along behind them, and Jess. You waved at them. Good news to you all! I love Daryl. Regards, Daryl. How's class? Boring and boring. So glad to be out of there. One less minor and I'll be out of here. Gio just shrugged, a hand in his hoodie pocket while the other on his phone. Well, we got at least to do something in our major today, though, which I'm glad about. More papers, but at least it's something. As they talked with each other, at the corner of your eye, you noticed a familiar figure. It was Sol. He came out of a class and another person came afterwards, behind him, seemingly bored out of his mind. Yugi! Let's call Sol over. Yeah. Not sparing the group a moment, you make your way over to where Sol is. Hi there, you're friends with Sunny? Sunny? Sunny! He pats Sol on the back, causing the taller man to jerk slightly forward. Sol gives him an irritated look, observing the way his face is slowly turning red. You know, because he's such a sunshine. He's Sunny. I just want to get on my knee and propose to Hugo. You let out a small giggle, shifting your eyes towards Sol as he catches your gaze on his. Like a nickname? Yes! Sunny loves the nickname I gave him. Right, Sunny? Sol remained silent, still refusing to meet your gaze. That's adorable. For a moment, the three of you are silent before the shorter male speaks up once more. You sure have taste, Sunny. She's very pretty, like you said. A blush makes its way onto your face, scratching the back of your head. You bit your bottom lip as you let out a small thank you. Stop. Anyway, nice to meet you. My name's Hugo. I'm this big old grumpy's best friend. Sleepy, it's a pleasure to meet you. He extends his hand for you to take, in which you merely accept, shaking it and putting it back to his side, a smile on his face as he does so. Then you hear the group of footsteps behind you. Hugo first noticed the group behind you and he raised his head to meet one of their gazes. There you are, Sleepy. You just ran off like that. I got kind of worried. Are you with these people, Sleepy? Oh, that's right. Sorry for running off like that. Yeah. Sol, Hugo, these are my friends. You turned your body to face Crowe and the others, while their gaze is still fixed on the duo. Crowe gives the two a smile and a small wave. Daryl came up first, extending his hand for one of them to take. Nice to meet you. I'm Daryl, and if you haven't heard yet, I am the ace of our school's football team. He said with a smile. Hugo took his hand with a shake. I love it. Following up is Brittany, who just stares with a hand on her hip, while Jess was twiddling her fingers as she stuck close to Brittany's side. Hey, how's it going? Hello. Between Brittany, Jess, and Daryl, it seems like only the tall Jack is the most enthusiastic out of all of them in this newfound friendship. Give me GR. I'm Hugo. I've heard about you, Daryl. Nice to meet you too. Thankfully, Hugo returned the same energy as the Jack. We love it. We love our sunshine. I'm Jerica, but people call me Crowe. Nice to meet you, acquaintance. Oh, Sol. Every time. Crowe also handed out his hand for Sol to take. However, Sol did not take it. There was a slight awkwardness in the air between the two males, making Crowe slowly retract his hand back. No way! The atmosphere between the two, however, was cut short when Hugo gave out a large gasp and marched towards Gio, who was way behind the entire group, a visible scowl on his face. Gio's eyes darkened as he tried to step away, but Hugo was quick on his feet and he engulfed the taller male into a hug. Hold on. So Hugo's basically saying, long time no see, Subaru. Look at him blushing! Give us more blushing Gio! Gio is basically pulling a Shikamaru and saying, oh, what a drag. Eh? I didn't want to see your ugly face the entire day. No, the entire semester. But my luck seems to be slipping. Hey now, that's no way to greet your brother! Another loud gasp was heard. This time came from Daryl. He points at Gio quite a bit dramatically. You have a brother, Gio? Oh, great. Another one. That's big brother to you? Everyone's attention was now on the three of them. Brittany seemingly amused by Gio's newfound dilemma. Crowe just chuckled while Jess was surprised as well. All right. Hugo started finally letting go of Gio, the said male cursing under his breath as he composed himself to fix his ruffled hair. As he walked towards you. We're gonna go up to the rooftop for lunch today. We're hoping that you could come with us. He says, now standing beside Sol. Sol looks at you with anticipation. Let's start with the group. Because I wanted to get their stuff first. Hugo gives you a sad smile of his own before nodding his head, failing to notice that one of Sol's eyes twitched. Aw, that's alright, Sleepy. But hit us up if you ever want to hang out, okay? You nod and gave them an enthusiastic thumbs up. Before you could turn to Sol to apologize to him, Hugo quickly dragged him away. You noticed his strides were slow and hesitant as Hugo dragged him away.